2,000 years ago, someone built a machine so advanced it shouldn't exist. A device capable of predicting eclipses, mapping the heavens, and even timing the Olympic Games, centuries before modern science. And then, it vanished. For nearly 2 millennia, the secret was lost, until one day, a corroded lump of bronze was dragged from the sea. At first glance, it looked worthless. A shoebox-sized crust of green metal and wood. But hidden inside were gears so intricate, so impossibly precise, they belonged to another age. Scientists call it the Antikythera Mechanism. A better name? The world's first computer. This was no toy. It calculated, it predicted, it revealed the universe with eerie accuracy. And yet, its story is not one of triumph, but of loss. Because if humanity once held this knowledge and then let it slip into darkness, what else have we forgotten? That's exactly why we explore these mysteries here. So if you're ready to uncover what history tried to erase, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Because to understand why this discovery is so unsettling, we need to return to where it all began. Not in a library, not in a temple, but deep on the ocean floor. The year is 1901. Off the Greek island of Antikythera, a team of sponge divers prepares for their descent. The waters are rough, visibility is poor, and the work is dangerous. But when they plunge into the depths, what they find will rewrite history. Scattered across the seabed lies the wreck of a massive Roman trading ship. Marble statues, bronze figures, coins, jewels, the kind of cargo meant for emperors. The divers can hardly believe their eyes. They've stumbled onto a treasure trove. Amidst this chaos of beauty and gold sits something less glamorous. A strange block of corroded metal fused with decaying wood. No one pays it much attention. Compared to statues of gods and heroes, it looks like worthless debris. For a time it sits ignored, catalogued without fanfare, while the world marvels at the ship's glittering cargo. Then, in 1902, a Greek archaeologist named Valerios Stais examines the lump more closely. What he sees shocks him. Embedded within the corrosion are tiny interlocking gears, mechanical teeth crafted with precision no one believed possible in the ancient world. This isn't art. This isn't ornamentation. It's engineering. Stais announces his find, but at first many dismiss it. How could ancient Greeks have built something so complex? Surely it must be a mistake. But the truth cannot be denied forever. Decades of study reveal just how advanced this machine really was. Built around 150 to 100 BCE, possibly even earlier, the Antikythera Mechanism contained at least 30 gears, many cut with microscopic precision. Turn a crank on the side, and the gears inside would move dials on the front, showing the position of the sun, the moon, and the 5 known planets. Another dial predicted eclipses, down to the very month, day, and hour. Still another tracked the 4-year cycle of the Olympic Games. Etched across the device are inscriptions in ancient Greek, tiny fragments of text that serve as an instruction manual. They describe astronomical events, cycles of time, and celestial phenomena. In other words, this was no toy. It was a hand-cranked planetarium, a portable universe in a box, built centuries before anyone thought such a thing could exist. Think about that for a moment. The Romans were conquering territories with swords and shields. The Greeks were building temples of marble. And somewhere, hidden in a workshop, a craftsman was carving gears finer than a Swiss watchmaker, creating a device that functioned like a mechanical cosmos. One single object that condensed the heavens into turning bronze. And yet, after this miracle of engineering, the trail suddenly goes cold. The technology vanishes as if it had never existed. The Antikythera Mechanism stands alone, an anomaly, a whisper of lost knowledge that human civilization somehow abandoned. Which leads to the unsettling question, why was it forgotten? The deeper researchers probed the Antikythera Mechanism, the stranger the picture became. Because after this machine appeared, history falls silent. No other devices with gears this precise. No surviving records of similar technology. It's as if a flash of genius ignited and then was deliberately erased. That gap is chilling. How could something so advanced simply vanish? Some argue it was suppressed, guarded by elites who saw it as too powerful for ordinary people. Others believe the knowledge was passed hand to hand, but lost in wars, burned in libraries, forgotten in the chaos of conquest. And still others whisper a darker possibility that the Antikythera Mechanism wasn't an isolated Greek invention at all, but a fragment of something older, something handed down from a civilization that left almost no trace. What's undeniable is this: the device proves the ancient Greeks had far greater technological and mathematical skill than history has credited them for. We're not talking about myths or legends here. We're talking about precision gearing, astronomical calculation, and craftsmanship that shouldn't exist in the year 150 BCE. Its existence hints at a hidden chapter of human history, one that our textbooks refuse to acknowledge. Fast forward to April 23, 2019. Millions are listening as Joe Rogan sits down with Graham Hancock for episode number 1284 of his podcast. Hancock, famous for his theories of forgotten civilizations, brings up the Antikythera Mechanism. He calls it nothing less than an ancient GPS for the heavens, a cosmic calculator that guided its users through time and space. Rogan leans forward, stunned. "That's insane, man," he mutters. But Hancock isn't finished. He suggests this device isn't just a random anomaly. It may be evidence of a scientific inheritance, something passed down from a civilization that once thrived and then vanished. A civilization older than Greece, older than Rome, wiped clean from memory, but leaving behind tantalizing fragments like this machine. For Rogan's vast audience, the Antikythera Mechanism stops being a dusty artifact. It becomes a clue, a keyhole into an alternate version of human history where forgotten geniuses once held secrets we can barely imagine. And here's where the story takes its darkest turn. Because modern science has finally confirmed what the mechanism could actually do. In 2021, researchers discovered that the gears were designed to track the orbit of Venus, not just for a year or a decade, but across a cycle of 462 years. The mathematics behind it are flawless, the gearing ratios exact. This wasn't guesswork. This was precise astronomy encoded in bronze. That changes everything. It means humanity had already cracked planetary cycles centuries ahead of its time. It means our ancestors weren't fumbling in the dark, but mapping the heavens with technology as advanced as anything seen until the Renaissance. And yet, it all disappeared. Humanity reset. The knowledge, the craftsmanship, the genius, gone as if it never existed. Imagine what could have happened if it hadn't. Mechanical computers in the age of Caesar, steam engines in the Middle Ages, flight, electricity, even space exploration centuries before our time. The Antikythera Mechanism shows us not just what we once had, but what we lost. And that's the part no one wants to admit. Because solving this mystery doesn't reassure us. It exposes a terrifying truth. We are not guaranteed progress. We can climb to incredible heights and then tumble back into darkness. The not good part isn't the machine itself. It's the realization that we once held the seeds of modern technology in our hands and let them slip into oblivion. Which leads to the bitter question, what happens when genius disappears? Instead of carrying this breakthrough forward, humanity had to reinvent the wheel. Entire civilizations rose and fell, while the brilliance of this device sat rotting on a shipwreck at the bottom of the Aegean Sea. That gap leaves a void so deep it feels almost tragic. What could we have been if the chain of knowledge hadn't been broken? Did the brutal conquest of Greece by Rome bury this science beneath blood and fire? Was it locked away by priests and scholars, a secret guarded for the few, never shared with the many? Or was it simply crushed under the chaos of history, lost as libraries burned, as empires collapsed, as the memory of how it worked faded into silence? Either way, the mechanism confronts us with something no one wants to admit: civilizational amnesia. Humanity doesn't just forget. We erase, we discard, and the most advanced technology of the ancient world something capable of shifting the trajectory of civilization, vanished without a trace. And when you look closer, the device only becomes more astonishing. One of its largest gears contained exactly 223 teeth. Not random, not decorative, but deliberate, perfectly matching the Saros cycle, a period used to predict eclipses. How could an ancient craftsman have encoded such mathematical precision into bronze 2,000 years ago? The deeper you examine, the stranger it gets. Smaller gears revealed ratios so fine they implied tools or machine methods that archaeology has never uncovered. It wasn't just theory, it was engineering so precise it borders on the unbelievable. Inscriptions etched across the plates confirmed what the gears implied, planetary calculations of staggering complexity. And then comes the detail that blows everyone away. The Antikythera Mechanism had a moon phase indicator, not a rough guess, not a symbol. A rotating black and white ball turning in real time to mimic the waxing and waning of the moon. Think about that. A miniature model of the heavens, displayed in mechanical form, crafted in the age of sandals and togas. In today's language, this was a smartphone-level device, a compact handheld universe running on bronze gears instead of silicon chips. For decades, it seemed impossible to fully decode how it all worked. The mechanism sat in fragments, corroded and incomplete, taunting researchers. Then, in the 2000s, technology finally caught up. CT scans and high-resolution X-rays revealed hidden gears buried deep within the crust. Faint inscriptions, long invisible, were exposed with the help of Hewlett-Packard's imaging systems. Words and numbers etched by a Greek hand over 2 millennia ago suddenly reappeared, like a ghost returning to speak across time. Piece by piece, researchers began to rebuild the machine. Models showed how the gears meshed together, turning dials and pointers across the front. To their amazement, the reconstructions matched cosmic cycles with stunning precision. It wasn't just functional, it was perfect. By 2021, a team at University College London had proved the gearing system was mathematically sound. Their reconstruction confirmed it. The Antikythera Mechanism wasn't a lucky guess, it was a deliberate engineered device that mirrored the motions of the cosmos. The design worked, the astronomy was right, the ratios were flawless, but the discovery only sparked an even more unsettling debate. Could the ancient Greeks really have manufactured such a thing? Did they possess precision tools and methods that archaeology hasn't yet uncovered? Or are we staring at evidence of an even older stream of knowledge, one that flowed into Greece from somewhere further back in time and then disappeared? And that disappearance leaves us with one chilling fact. Only a single Antikythera mechanism has ever been found. If this technology was real, if it worked, if it was so advanced, why isn't the archaeological record filled with them? Where are the workshops, the half-finished gears, the copies? The silence is deafening. Across thousands of years of ruins and relics, not a single gear-driven device of this complexity has ever surfaced. Just this one artifact, plucked from the sea by chance. And so theories multiply. Some say they were destroyed in war, victims of conquest and looting as empires clashed. Bronze was valuable. Gears could be melted down and reforged into swords, shields, or coins. Others believe the devices were deliberately hidden or reserved for elites, priests, navigators, or astronomers who used them as tools of power, never meant for the masses. A few suggest a more direct origin, that it was connected to Archimedes, the legendary inventor of Syracuse, or Hipparchus, the Greek astronomer whose work on lunar cycles eerily matches what the gears predict. And then there's the ocean itself. The Antikythera wreck hasn't revealed all its secrets. In dives conducted in 2012 and 2015, researchers recovered new fragments, tiny slivers of gears, plates, and inscriptions. Each discovery raises the same tantalizing question. Is there more down there? Could entire sections of the mechanism, or even another device, still lie buried in the sand? The hunt continues because finding even one more piece could change everything we think we know about ancient science. But the Antikythera Mechanism is not the only enigma of the past. The ancient world is scattered with artifacts that don't fit neatly into the timeline we've been taught. Take the Baghdad battery, dating back to around 250 BCE, a clay jar with copper and iron components that some researchers believe could have generated electricity. If true, it suggests the ancients may have experimented with power thousands of years before we rediscovered it. Or look at the Nazca lines in Peru, massive desert glyphs stretching for miles, etched into the earth in shapes only fully visible from the sky. Why create something so large, so precise, if no one on the ground could see the full picture? Then there are the Roman dodecahedra, mysterious 12-sided bronze objects found across Europe. Perfectly crafted, each side has a circular hole of varying size. Scholars have speculated endlessly. Were they surveying tools, candle holders, astronomical instruments? To this day, no one can agree. Each of these artifacts, like the Antikythera Mechanism, suggests something unsettling. Human history may not be as linear as we think. It's not a straight line from primitive to advanced. It's jagged, broken, interrupted by loss, reset, and collapse. Civilizations rise, achieve brilliance, and then vanish, taking their secrets with them. And that brings us to the final, most chilling point. Because the Antikythera Mechanism proves that human genius is not inevitable. It can appear, burn brightly, and then disappear into darkness. This isn't speculation. It happened. We had a mechanical computer in 150 BCE. We had gears, ratios, cycles, astronomy encoded into bronze. And then, for over 1,000 years, nothing. If knowledge can vanish once, it can vanish again. If civilizations can forget what they've achieved, so can we. We comfort ourselves with the idea of inevitable progress, as if technology only ever marches forward. But the Antikythera Mechanism is a warning. Progress is fragile. Genius is fragile. The future is not guaranteed. When Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock frame it as evidence of forgotten civilizations, they tap into that uncomfortable truth. The solved mystery doesn't reassure us. It unsettles us, because it forces us to imagine a world where history isn't a steady climb, but a cycle of rise and collapse, where brilliance can burn out, where knowledge can be lost forever. And the most disturbing part? We may already be living in one of those fragile moments, blind to how much we still don't know and how much we stand to lose. If you found these discoveries as fascinating and unsettling as we did, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and stay with us as we uncover more secrets history tried to bury.